Now, your WZDX Pinpoint Weather with Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman.
A little humid this afternoon, but otherwise it was another beautiful day across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures decently above average. Highs climbed into the low and even mid 80s this afternoon. 83 is a popular number. Huntsville International, Athens, Decatur, Fayetteville all saw highs this afternoon of 83 degrees. Pulaski saw 82. Coleman also saw 82, as did Russellville. 86 was the high this afternoon over in Florence. Scottsboro saw 81. Fort Payne, good evening. You saw a high this afternoon of 80 degrees. We stay warm through the overnight. Winds out of the south are going to keep us that way. I've only got a low right around 64 degrees. Keep in mind an average low temperature as we progress later into late October. Right around 49 or 50 degrees. We are going to warm up once again tomorrow with a few peaks of sunshine, but I also have the opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Still, temperatures are going to climb into the upper 70s, right around 80 degrees. An average high temperature right around 72 or 73. That's exactly where we're going to be when most high school football games kick off. 73 at kickoff, 70 by halftime. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be a possibility through a good majority of the evening. Does look like that activity could taper off by the end of the game, where we'll be sitting right around 67 degrees, but we could also still be talking about that opportunity for a few showers. Why are we talking about the opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms? A cold front that by Friday morning still going to be sitting well off to our northwest, but we are going to be talking about a pretty decent increase in the cloud cover. Still, even during the morning commute, I think we'll get to enjoy a few peaks of sunshine. At the lunch hour, a partly to mostly cloudy sky across the Tennessee Valley, but pay attention to the fact that we are still dry. We progress through the heart of the afternoon. Now we're 3, 4 o'clock. Some isolated to widely scattered showers beginning to show up across the Tennessee Valley. Maybe a couple of thunderstorms at this point. I think the better opportunity for thunderstorms is going to come during the evening as this cold front begins to draw closer. Now here we are, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. Scattered showers and thunderstorms across northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin counties, maybe into Lawrence County, and then southern Middle Tennessee, Giles, and Lincoln counties. But pay attention to the fact that we are still dry across northeast Alabama, Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties. Good news as far as Friday night football is concerned, but the showers and thunderstorms are going to continue to push east. Therefore, I think everybody stands the opportunity at seeing at least a little bit of rain or maybe even having to deal with a lightning delay. By the early part of Saturday morning, still mostly cloudy, maybe a couple of showers around, but most of us are going to be dry. We hold on to the cloud cover through Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. It's not going to be a terrible day, a little cooler, but it's not going to be a terrible day. Don't necessarily get caught up in the rain totals. Just pay attention to the fact that some of us could see a fair amount of rain by Saturday afternoon. Others of us may not see that much. On the backside of this cold front is a little bit of moisture, but there's also some much drier air that is eventually going to move into the Tennessee Valley. And I can show you that by showing you our futurecast dew points. By Friday afternoon, dew points sitting in the mid and upper 60s. But watch as those dew points begin to drop off Saturday morning through Saturday afternoon. Now we're talking about dew points in the mid and upper 40s, some of us low and mid 50s. So yeah, some drier air. But like I said, it is going to be a little cooler on Saturday. I've got a high of just 70 degrees. We warm up once again for Sunday, 75, 80 on Monday. It does look like our temperatures drop off a little bit more as we get into the middle part of next week. Also talking about some other opportunities for rain. Connor.
I guess the rain isn't too bad because really we haven't seen any in a while, so we can handle it.
Yeah, I think we can handle a little bit of rain. The timing's a bit inconvenient, but you're right. We haven't really seen a lot of rain in a long time.
All right. Thank you, Jordan.